Bonjour. So we're going to do a channeled message today because I was really feeling that there's someone that still doesn't fully understand what they've done, but they're starting to. So this is someone that, promised you the world, but there's someone who is quite impressionable. So when people started talking and giving their opinions, it affected their pride. So like, people are judging me, I'm not ready for this. So instead of facing it, they chose to break your heart instead. They let other people's opinions convince them that they weren't ready for this connection, even though they'd already promised you the world. And they can't blame those people for their own fear. They made the promise and then they took it away. Essentially, why promise something so deep if you weren't really ready? Ego. But usually when people are impressionable like that, it's because they're a people pleaser. Oh my God. Who think basically they thought it was okay to back out because of others' disapproval. And this is someone that does love you, and they did want to be with you, but they sabotaged it. They let the opinions of others shape their decisions because not everyone agreed with this connection, and they still don't fully understand what they've done or how it affected you or how much it broke you. So this is someone that is kind of impulsive, irrational, pretty selfish. They chose distractions and third parties instead of facing their truth. And everything they did feels null and void now, not because of you, but because they simply weren't ready. But this is someone that they still don't fully understand what they've done here. It's like this is someone that in their mind they think that they have a reason, like, yeah, well, I wasn't ready, but they're the ones that promised the world and then revoked it because they cared what other people think. So there's like, it's this weird mix of they're getting there, they're starting to realize, but they're not fully there yet. So let's get the energy of this then. What is the energy for this channeled message, please? Move on. Someone is unavailable, a waste of time, it's over. And I think that's the impression they left you with. After promising you the world and then revoking it, they really left you with the impression that this was done and there was no going back. Mercury retrograde. So today's the 1st of November, by the way. So Mercury retrograde is the 9th of November. So something might be happening around that over those 3 weeks of Mercury retrograde when it comes to this person. Patience, just a few more months, good things come to those who wait. And I think that that's the issue here. Well, not the issue as such, but just that this person, I think, is, whether they're being reflected this lesson back to them or not, there is something that's happening in their life right now that is making them realize, perhaps it's the people whose opinions that they listened to and the distractions they had that has either been removed from their life, or they're seeing things differently. They're starting to change their perspective now. But to see patience here, just a few more months, things come to those who wait. They're not fully there yet. They're not fully understanding. They're still blaming others for being, and also for not being ready. But they're the ones that made the promises. They're the ones that offered things they weren't ready to offer and then cared what other people thought. So they're still blaming a bit. They're partly there, but not fully. Move on. Confession. So I think that this channeled message is this person, basically, I think they're feeling like they want to express that they haven't moved on from you. It's quite the opposite, that they tried to move on from you, and potentially even talk about the third party interferences that they listen to in regards to this connection. Because this is someone that loves you deeply and they did want to be with you. But again, people telling them that this wasn't the right connection, or telling them this, that, whatever they were saying to this person, it was affecting their ego, and so they acted out of ego and let you go. So this is something that they need to confess, that all the things that led to this, because ultimately it's like, you're allowed to not feel ready, but then why did you make promises you can't keep? Gambling. So this is about bad finances, addictions, just problems with any kind of addiction, whether it's gambling, substances, streaming. There's lots of things that could be an addiction that this person, I think, is going through. This is, I think, part of what they're transforming through right now. It's like they're reviewing everything in their life, all the decisions they've made and all the opinions that they've listened to, and how that's always dictated their choices in life, and because of people's opinions and their ego, and the things that have affected their ego, like addictions, bad decisions they've made with their finances, all these things. They're going over everything with a fine-tooth comb right now and reviewing it. Patience. Yeah, so they're going over the divorce. Well, you could have been married to this person. Maybe you did go through a divorce with this person, but also they're really reviewing the breakup here. But it's because they're reminiscing on this connection and how much chemistry you two had, but the actual connection was the connection was just so deep that they ran from it and caused this ending here. And this is what they're reflecting on. All the things that caused them to lose this connection through their own actions, their own pride and ego, and other people's opinions. So this is something that is developing, because that's to confirm just a few more months, good things come to those who wait. So they're going through this right now. They're really reviewing all the choices they've made in life and what's led them to this point. Okay, let's get some more information on this connection and then we'll get into the message. Can we get some more information on this connection, please? What happened in this connection, please? Sudden change, shocking news, surprise, epiphany, upheaval, transformation. But I think that this person is going through this transformation right now. And this is what I mean. I feel like there was some sudden upheaval in their life, maybe around the people they listened to, that has caused them to go into this review period where they're really going over things. And it could have been something that really shocked them. And they're having epiphanies now because of it. Also, I just heard you might be about to hear shocking news either from this person or from someone connected to them. Okay, camera. So they're looking at memories, reminiscing, which, I mean, we know that this is a channeled message, so they're obviously thinking about you, and because they're reviewing everything, they might even have memories coming up on their phone. They could also still have things you gave them, like keeps, like gifts that you gave them. But this is about learning from the past and perception. I think this person's perception is shifting, and I think it's due to something shocking that's either just happened or happened that changed their perspective on things, that has caused this epiphany. And from that epiphany, they're now going through a transformation. But like it says, just a few more months, good things come to those who wait. They're still in the midst of this transformation. They're not fully there yet. They're still kind of blaming others and thinking about how they didn't feel ready, instead of how they promised you the world and then revoked it, and how that would have hurt you. They're still a bit self-focused right now. But they are seeing things from a new perspective. They are learning, and they're reviewing everything in their life and all the decisions they've made. But this is also about making memories. They want to make new memories with you. Need time, takes time, in time, cycles, time to heal, progress. So it's been a long time here since you've spoken to this person. Kisses, unconditional loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. And this is what I mean. This person it was never that they weren't in love with you, and it was never that they didn't want to be with you, but one, they made promises they weren't ready to make, and two, they cared too much about what other people thought. And if they went to our other people for advice on this connection and things weren't going the best, and people were telling them that this was no good and to leave you, they cared too much what these people thought, and they then did that. But they always loved you, and they're also reminiscing over how much you loved them, how you loved them unconditionally, and they let that go over the opinions of others. I think as well they're reminiscing over the love that they received from you, that chemistry, that intimacy, that feeling of being in love. Lightning. Keys on a ring, how they've strung you along and made you feel like an option. Again, making promises they couldn't keep left you feeling used. And I think as well that this epiphany that's happened to them has been because perhaps they've felt, this is what I mean about them being reflected their own behavior back to them. If someone has reflected to them, made them feel used, made them feel strung along, made them promises and not kept it. But at the same time, if this is someone that is a people pleaser and constantly gives to other connections, they're used to being the one that chases. They're the ones that are used to over giving in connections and being used up and thrown away. But then they did that to you, and then they got rid of the one person that was giving them. It's almost like you swapped roles. You became the person that gave too much to them and what got discarded, and suddenly they put these harsh boundaries up and pushed you away and made you feel used. They treated you exactly how everyone else in their life has always treated them, and then they went and did that to the person that unconditionally loved them. And these are the things that they're realizing now, like the people that are using me all the time, that I prioritize their opinions over my person, it's like these are all clicking into place now. They're having these light bulb moments. But they definitely reflected to you that you needed to love yourself more too. This is sounding like one of my collectives where it's like their family are actually the problem in this person's life. They're the ones that have caused this person the trauma, and they're the ones that have used this person the most. But they were the first ones to tell your person to leave you because you were the problem. You were the one making them depressed when it was just an accumulation of their life's trauma from those same people telling them to leave you. Okay, coffee cup. So they want to meet up and converse more. This is feeling uplifted and savoring the friendship. That's interesting, but savoring the moment. I think though that this person might want to come in more lighthearted, but at the same time, this is where they haven't really clicked into it yet, because you deserve more than a like, hey, how you been? Want to catch up? After making all these promises and then revoking them. You deserve more than that. And this person, I think, their pride and their ego is still quite prominent here. They're not kind of come in hat in hand, humbled yet. Grim Reaper. So how, again, this move on, it's this person's unavailable, a waste of time, it's over. They really left you feeling used and broken, and that this was really over for good. This isn't someone that's come back in trying to rekindle things with you again, even if this is something where you two broke up and made up quite a few times in the past. This last separation was really like, this is the end. There is no going back. We're not right for each other, and they just cut you off cold. And they just saw this as you were the problem. They removed the problem, and now they're going to grow and transform their life, and there's no second chances, and they just threw themselves into distractions. And that's the impression they left you with, that they were just moving on, and that they discarded you so easily. Yeah, the way they left you, the axe is probably the harshest breakup card. It was very like they cut you off cold, they ended things, and then just immediately went into silent treatment. There was no checking how you are or how this was affecting you. They just gave you the silent treatment and just flat out abandoned you. All because of their pride and the opinions of others, and them in that moment thinking that was the only way they knew how to do it. And that doesn't make it okay. I'm just saying that is how they knew how to handle it in that moment, because that's how people had always treated them. And then they went and did it to the one person that they shouldn't have done it to. Of course, it's twin flames. But I think as well, perhaps part of the epiphanies this person is having is understanding now that what they thought that they were walking away from here, thinking it's toxic and this and that, if this person is starting to already knows about twin flames or has just started learning about twin flames, they're understanding how people reflect their wounds to one another, whether you're a twin flame or not. But this is the universe's, this is what the universal truth is of this connection, which is that you're twin flames. But this person is understanding now that they threw away, discarded something that was truly divine here. But that being said, for this to have happened, it means you were both still broken. You were accepting subpar treatment when you're so loving and giving, and they mistreated this loving person over the people that have always treated them that way. There's lessons to be learned here. This separation had to happen, because otherwise you would have kept accepting subpar treatment, and they would have kept listening to other people's opinions, and the conflict would have just kept escalating. So this had to separate so that lessons could be learned. But I think as well, this person's realizing now, especially because they're reminiscing about the love you gave and the intimacy, where they would have held on to all the negatives about the conflict that you two always had for such a long time to stay away from you. Now all they're reminiscing about is how much you balanced each other out, how about the happy times, about all the love and the chemistry and the intimacy and the conversations and memories of you two hanging out and enjoying each other's company. Now they're bombarded with those memories. It's hard to ignore the connection that you two really do share. Revoking promises. This person promised you the world, promised you forever, promised you marriage. They may have even proposed to you. You may have even been engaged, and then the way they ended things here was so cold and not calculated, but they just were very self-focused and cared too much what other people think. And instead of working on the connection and making it stronger and better, they let outside opinions and advice affect this and then leave you in such a cold, detached way after making these big promises. Okay, I want to get a timing card just to see how long it's been since you've heard from this person. And then we'll get into this channeled message. So November flipped over, but that's now. So it could have been last November since you've heard from them, but I think that November could potentially be the month you hear from them, which I've been saying for a few months now that November was going to be important for communication. Stop waiting. I think you have stopped waiting to hear from them actually because it's been so long. Next month, so December. Festive season has been coming out a lot as well, so that could be another time that you hear from them. But I want to know how long it's actually been since you've heard anything from them. In a few days. They're not telling, it's so weird. Instead, they're not telling me at night. I just heard, so you may hear from them in a few days, but I'm just hearing that the last time you heard from them, it was like it was very late at night. So you just ignored the message because it felt like it wasn't even something worth entertaining because what they sent you or whatever it was, whatever the contact with them was, it was very late at night and it made you just think, oh, they're drunk, whatever, and you didn't pay attention. Rushing in. This is so funny. I'm asking them for how long it's been since you've last spoke to them, and they're just constantly giving this, but this is coming in soon. Them wanting to reach out and communicate is coming in soon at a special date. So maybe that's when you heard from them at night was a special day, or this year. They don't want to tell me when you last heard from them, which is so weird because it's past tense. In a few months. What the actual F? This is all very now energy. Maybe there's no point tapping into when you last heard from them. And January, which is funny because this year, when I see that card, even though it says this year, I look at it as New Year's Eve celebrations. All right. Well, the energy of that is definitely this person's going to be coming in and communicating with you soon. Excuse me. Actually, before I get the message cards, I want to get how they're perceiving you, their feelings for you and the connection. telepathy. So maybe they feel like you can feel what they're feeling. Red flag. So they, especially when it comes to this connection, they saw all the conflict as a it's like this person had a very specific view of what a relationship should look like, what love should look like. And if they grew up with trauma in the home and they have avoidant tendencies, and they saw any conflict that you two had as a reason to run on top of other people's opinions, and people's opinions might have been that you were toxic, that you were a big red flag, and so they paid attention to that. And unfortunately, axed this connection. Warrior spirit. We had this the other day, so this might be a channel message from the person from that collective. I can't remember which day it was, but they see you as a warrior spirit. Despite what they've put you through, you still were someone that acted honorably. It's not as if you went away and started bad-mouthing to them to everyone, even though you had every right to. And I'm not saying you didn't speak to anyone about it, but what I mean is how they went to other people for advice and opinions and let it affect their connection with you. You would have been the opposite, where you were hiding a lot of things from people close to you because you loved this person so much. So you weren't telling them how bad things actually were. But when things ended, that doesn't mean that you didn't speak to one or two people about how much this hurt you and what happened here. But what I mean by this acting honorably is that you didn't go out and try to ruin this person's reputation or create problems for them. And you could have easily, with how they treated you, but I think because you loved this person so much, you didn't do that, and they saw that. They recognized that despite what they did to you, you still acted with honor. And even though you would have been in so much pain, it's like they've seen you become even stronger, and you live bravely. Like you live, I always see that card as that the person really living authentically. They speak their truth and they live they don't wear a mask. What you see is what you get. Fertility. So maybe you shared a pregnancy with this person, but they certainly want a new beginning with you here. And I also am seeing that as you've been through a lot of pain too. And despite that pain, you've risen, and it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. You've gone through some really dark, low times, but you phoenixed from that. Wounded feminine under red flag. So this is what I mean. They were seeing your behavior as wounded, and then they just saw you as the red flag. And people were telling them that you were a red flag, that you were no good for them, and that this connection wouldn't last, and they need to get out of it. And they listened to it. And because they would have had a feeling of love should look a certain way, anytime there was conflict, they thought that meant this was toxic and it had to end. And as well, they could have had a wounded feminine around them, like a mother or a sister or someone, a female friend or something that was coming from jealousy and envy of your connection too. Father wounds. So I think you both would have had father wounds. I saw this video the other day that reminded me of an energy kind of like this, where it's like if a guy tells you he wants a girl just like his mum, and his mum was abused or neglected and had to take on a lot in the house, they will expect you to do that. So you should run. It's kind of like this person hated how their mother was treated, But at the same time, deep in their soul, they resent their mother because they let their father do that. And then through that, the children then had to step up and be parents to themselves, parent to their mother, as in look after their mother and help, instead of being the child and just being taken care of. Their father wounds affected this as well, because I think this person would have seen what you went through with your own family trauma, your father issues, your mother issues, and then reflected those same wounds back to you. And then they would have been reacting out of fear because they were starting to see similar traits in themselves of their own father. So there was a lot of wounding here. You were both broken people that were reflecting your wounds back to each other, and that had to be healed out, which can only happen when you're away from one another because it's just too intense. But as well, for that to confirm warrior spirit, I think this person as well recognizes how strong you are despite what you've been through with your father wounds. Telepathy. But again, they were putting their trauma and their responses above your trauma and your responses, and in turn hurt you because of it. Now they're starting to see, but they're not fully there yet, starting to see how much pain they caused you. Matrix. So again, they feel like there's telepathy here. So maybe they feel like they're getting messages or trying to send you messages through music, movies, things like that, or even just literally saying, I'm seeing that missing you card, talking to the moon, like talking to their team, hoping that their feelings are getting through to you telepathically, but then they get confused by the physical reality where nothing's happening, there's no contact with you. But this says real eyes, realize, real lies. So it's like they're realizing now how they handled things, and they're starting to have these epiphanies, how they were hot one minute, offering you the world, offering you marriage, offering you a family, because that's to confirm fertility. You might have even been trying to get pregnant with this person, and they were offering you forever, and then they went cold on you. They're definitely reflecting on that. .5D. So I think that they feel like you two are already connected in the 5D, and that could be a big part of why they're hoping that you're telepathically connected. New moon. I think we just had the full moon. I don't know when the new moon is, so look that up, but they're planting seeds right now, and that could be something that's happening in their dream state too. You might be appearing in their dreams, but they're planting seeds in this person's mind right now. That's why they're having these epiphanies, these aha moments, because whatever it is around this new moon, there is a new beginning. That's 2 cards of a new beginning, and the moon is the feminine too. But they're planting seeds in this person's mind to really do some inner reflection. That's like going into solitude and doing that introspection and learning and reflecting on your own behavior and your own thought patterns and the decisions and choices you've made throughout your life. This new moon is bringing new beginnings as far as this seeds have been planted, and now they're doing the inner reflection on everything that's happened here, which is really good. You can't grow and evolve unless you do that inner reflection. Yeah, clearing and healing karma. Perfect. This person is definitely starting to do the work on their internal wounding and the wounding that they've caused you as well. There's definitely seeds being planted, and I think as well, maybe this person's also reflecting on the karma that they've received since you, because if they really ripped your heart out and caused you a lot of pain, adding to your trauma, they would have received karma for that. So if everything that's been going wrong in their life, at first they were like, poor me, victim mentality. But I think part of them is starting to realize like certain things have happened because of how they treated you. And it's not because you've gone out of your way to make that happen. You're just highly protected. I don't think this person's blaming you, but they may have for a long time blamed anything that was going wrong on you, and that you destroyed their life and all this sort of thing. But now they're reflecting on the fact that if you're looking strong and you've handled things with grace and everything seems okay for you, that perhaps they were the ones in the wrong, and they're having these epiphanies now and realizing that they need to clear and heal out these karmas from what they've done and from past lives too. Yeah, their ego. They're clearing and healing out the karma because that was brought to them because of their ego and their pride. How it separated them from source, separated them from you. How everything that they've done has been driven by their fear, and how the illusions of this matrix, this physical world, has kept them from you. There it is, twin flames. So that's come out in 2 decks now, but this is their perspective. So not only is the universe saying, yes, this is a twin flame connection, but this person's starting to understand now that, yes, you are their twin flame. When you know, you know. Divine masculine, that's good. Wow, that's really good. So this actually feels like they're going through an ego death right now. This feels very dark night of the soul. This person is really reflecting on their behavior and the people that they listen to and all the bad decisions they've made. I don't think they're a divine masculine yet, but I certainly think they're working on it. They're building their confidence and they're working on their ego, which is leading them to act from their heart instead of their pride and other people's opinions, and learning how to act for themselves instead of on what other people think. And also that to me says that they're, especially with the addictions and their bad financial decisions, they're working on their finances. The divine masculine, to feel whole, they need to feel like they can protect and provide. So finances are a part of that. And this person's really working on their stability. I think, like I said throughout this whole thing so far, I don't feel like they're fully there yet. They're in the midst of learning these things, but they're developing their divine masculine energy. And as well, I just saw this red flag with wounded feminine. They might even be recognizing too that they were kind of acting like a wounded feminine, petty, jealous, controlling, vindictive, like cold, overbearing. Especially if that's what they've had growing up as well in their life, and then they were acting that out, realizing they were the red flag. That being said though, you would have had wounds that you were reflecting back to them as well that needed healing. Nobody's perfect. And that's not me saying this was all this masculine's fault, but they certainly are the reason things went as badly as they did, and they're the ones that made promises and then revoked them and cared what other people thought. And this is what they're realizing now, what they could have had, what they have gone through since, and the seeds have been planted and they're doing the work now. They're becoming more driven, which is going to make them more assertive and determined towards you and repairing this. I think they're driven to succeed here, driven to come back to their twin flame. And this is also about taking action. Shaman, plant medicine, Pachamama, sound healing, maybe there, and there's distance. Maybe there, or that was the bottom. I don't know which one's the bottom anymore, but there's definitely distance here. And they definitely see you as a healer in some way. So maybe that's part of the block as well, is that there's distance. Okay, let's see what they want to say. What does this person want to say to the collective, please? Truth is, I'm in love with you. I pretend like I don't care, but it's quite the opposite. My feelings for you are a little bit obsessive. Stalker alert, I check up on you often. So this person's using fake accounts to lurk because I don't think I'll get your perspective. Maybe they have popped up on your social media, but it feels like, especially for them to see you as a shaman, you're definitely putting something out into the world that they have access to. I'm learning how to love myself thanks to you, and that's under Truth is I'm in love with you. Realizing too how much you loved them and how you accepted them as they were, even to your detriment, really, because you were accepting ill treatment. But how deep the love goes, and realizing that maybe at one point they resented you for loving them so much because they felt like they couldn't match that energy, and so they pushed you away because of it as well. I just heard as well, sometimes because you didn't feel deserving of love, they would try to love you and you would reject it too. So there's mirroring going on here. But in loving yourself now and them seeing that warrior spirit in you, that you've developed this strength and this confidence and that you're healing people with it, they're learning to love themselves and learning that maybe I deserve love. When someone doesn't think they deserve love, when someone's loving them, they then will treat that person badly for loving them because they don't think they deserve it. So, and I'm not saying how they treated you is right, it's not, but they're understanding this now. This is what it means when planting the seeds and doing that inner reflection. See, my finances are a mess. They're trying to work on their stability right now. I miss your voice, your laugh, your humor, your touch. I'm in my feelings today. I love that card. I just saw that talking to the moon card again. My finances are a mess. I've made bad decisions. I'm in the process of turning things around. So and that's under stalker alert. So while they're watching you, it's pushing them to grow, but also they want to be in a stable position. And because there's distance too, there's that element of needing to be in a good position to come towards you, especially if someone has to move. I'm sorry I put my career before you. I'm trying to get out of debt. So their finances are a main focus right now. I think that's their priority. So they're going through some things right now. I'm willing to put the time and effort in now because I don't want to lose you. I do think this person's focusing on their career and getting their shit together, but I also see this card as not necessarily career, but for a long time I think this person, whatever they were partaking in to distract themselves from you, they weren't ready to give that up yet to come back to you because they knew that they'd have to give that up to put effort in towards you, and they didn't want to do that yet. But now they're in a place where they do want to put the effort in towards you, and they're willing to give up certain things, especially because addictions came out. I didn't know if my family was going to accept you. There it is. So their family was an interference here. And as well, you've got to remember, even though how they treated you wasn't right, and yes, you had every right to vent to someone about it, as you can try as hard as you can to tell people both sides. So you might have said he did this and it really hurt, and you would have cried, and then you would have said, but I also did this and this. The person you're venting to, especially when you're upset, is still going to be looking out for you. So when they spoke to their family and friends about you, they would have twisted it to make you look worse than you actually were, to justify their treatment of you, and to justify their family telling them to leave you, telling them it's okay to run and abandon you, especially when there's distance here too. So if you had to move away, and they cut you off so coldly and abandoned you, that's a pretty big painful thing to do to someone. And these people would have told them it was okay to cut you off and that you'd figure it out and you'd be fine. That's not nice. And the way that these people advise this person, their family, is a big detriment here, because these are permanent fixtures in their life. So this is something that needs to be dealt with. Their family can't be, if they want to reconnect with you, their family can't be belittling you or poking holes in your connection all the time. A divine masculine would not let that happen. That's part of protecting. I was hiding my true feelings from you because I was scared of commitment and I didn't want to lose my freedom. Okay. I want to get an animal card for how they see you right now. Actually, I want to get two. So one for what your actual energy is currently, the universes, your angels, what they're saying your current energy is. And then I also want to get a card for how this person is viewing you right now. So let's get the universe's view of you right now and your energy. Oh, the dragon tried to come out. The rabbit and the gazelle. Okay. And how is this person viewing you right now? Interesting, because the rabbit's very fearful and stressed out, and the gazelle kind of reminds me of like deer in headlights. It feels very frantic, scared energy. Not the best. But that being said, because this person's only just going through this right now, you could be mirroring a lot too. So if you're feeling fearful and anxious in regards to this connection right now, it could be because you're mirroring what this person is feeling internally. Like there's a storm inside, but they're not revealing it yet. How does this person view you right now? Earthworm. Okay, this is interesting. But you've got the phoenix on the bottom. You're rising from the ashes, and so is this person. Okay, so that's the universe's what they're saying your current energy is, and this is your person's perspective of you right now. So we'll do the universe first. So the rabbit. Let me find the page. Okay, the rabbit, afraid of everything, overwhelmed, frozen. The rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often about the future. So your fear over the future of this connection, especially because it's been a long time, maybe that's something that's coming up for you at the moment, especially because we're in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde too. Perhaps things are coming up for you just like it is for this person. And we become our own worst enemy. We spin up a dust cloud of fear and then complain to others that we are lost. Notice your thoughts and words, O rabbit, they shape your destiny. When in balance, sensitive, problem solver, and a good listener. When out of balance, over-explains and talks fast. To bring into balance, a day of silence. Is that fire? Is the gazelle fire? It is. That's interesting. Heightened awareness and ability, vulnerable. The gazelle represents supreme grace. This is good. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty amidst sophistication and elegance. Okay, not so bad after all. That's beautiful. I've never had the gazelle come out before. Gazelle personalities are often hyper aware of their surroundings, the rabbit, bordering on hyper-vigilant, and that's your mother trauma as well. If you grew up in a house where you had to constantly walk on eggshells and wonder what mood your parents were in, It then develops into being a hypervigilant adult where you notice any mood shifts and change of tone in people's voices, all that kind of stuff. And this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. You're needing to enjoy the life you've built for yourself since this ended. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. When in balance, graceful, perceptive, artistic. When out of balance, food allergies, insomnia, and racing mind. To bring into balance, yin yoga, a cozy home, and good food. So they're saying you do have this fear, but I think that's coming over. Oh, I just noticed the phoenix flipped over to show the otter. That's like the happiest animal in the deck. They're so joyful and happy. We'll get the phoenix as well, but this person, because they're seeing you as the warrior spirit as well, that would explain this phoenix and the otter. But you have this awe-inspiring beauty. And it's not just physical beauty that is illuminated about you. It's your internal beauty that radiates out of you that then makes your external beauty even more inspiring. Okay, the earthworm. Shy, hesitant, reluctant to share their inner vision. This is how they're seeing you right now. We have all felt the woes of the earthworm at some point along the way. The earthworm I just heard them say it's them. I just heard them say this is them. They see themselves this way, I just heard. Okay, anyway, let's read it. So maybe they see you as the phoenix and then, okay. We have all felt the woes of the earthworm at some point along the way. The earthworm indicates a newbie or novice working to establish confidence in a new field. Although if they're seeing you as the shaman, maybe you have just started a new business and you're putting it out there and they see it. So you're new to it. Others around you may seem wise and experienced, but it's important to remember they once felt earthworm energy too. This card is a reminder not to be intimidated or lose hope. Mastery takes time and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it, a beginner's mind offers the most valuable insights. When in balance, earnest, intelligent, and valuable. When out of balance, self-conscious and apprehensive. To bring into balance, speak up, risk embarrassment. If this is how they're seeing themselves too, it could be that their fear of reaching out to you as well. I do feel like this is a bit of both of you. I feel like they're seeing you as someone that is very earnest. But maybe what you're reflecting, it's kind of, they can still see that you don't fully believe in yourself yet. But they see you as warrior spirit. Maybe this is them then. Especially with risk embarrassment. And because they're learning, they're becoming self-aware and they're doing this inner reflection, they're a novice at that and they're feeling quite gun shy when it comes to the things that they're recognizing about themselves and trying to learn and grow. They're taking baby steps and it's like they're quite nervous about it because it's like they're growing. This is something that's new to them. Okay, the Phoenix. So that's a spirit card. So all the spirit cards, I can never seem to show you properly. The circle at the top is like sparkly. Okay, Phoenix. So it's the first one. So then that must mean it's the root chakra. You know what? I think this is them as well. They're phoenixing. Freedom from suffering and past karma, reincarnation. I think they're the phoenix. I think this is you and this is them. Because that's normally how I do it. I'll do a you and the one for you and one for them. The phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. I think that's what this person has done in the past. They burn bridges with rage because they feel used and taken advantage of, because they're a people pleaser. So they will overgive to people and then feel used, then burn the bridges with rage. That's what they did with you instead of the people that they should have been doing it with, their family. The phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as the burning of impurities. This is what they're doing right now through practice and dedication. The essence of the phoenix is with us when we realize we've been suffering too long. They're realizing this, clearing and healing their karma. And something must change. They know something must change now. They've been planting the seeds for a long time. We take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversions. At that very moment, the spark of the phoenix is lit and the great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. The stuckness and the dead weight fall into the ashes and a lightness and clarity emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smolder, the phoenix lifts our spirits up and we begin to recognize ourselves again. We may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. Look closely, it's a sign of fire of transformation is upon your wings. The phoenix in the first chakra, and the masculine rules the lower chakras and the feminine rules the higher chakras, but we have to balance all of them, just like you balance masculine and feminine. The ancient yogis believed that our heaviest karmas, and this is what I mean, in their physical reality, they've had a lot of karma to clear out. So there would have actually been physical towers constantly happening in their life, which is why they would have had that victim mentality for such a long time, because everything always goes wrong and they're just wondering, why me, and they're not clearing it. This earthen center is also called Muladhara, or our root. And a lot of the traumas that you get from childhood are stored in the root chakra. And so the masculine has to clear those traumas, just like you do. The ascent of the phoenix begins here. And as the entanglement of karmas is slowly burned, it rises from the ash toward the navel center. So this is the sacral chakra. So moving from the root to the sacral. And that's where passion lies, desire. Again and again, it makes this journey from first to third chakra. Root, sacral, solar. Purifying our essence, freeing us from the past. And especially because I didn't know if my family was going to accept you. They're breaking free from the being bounded to their family, being chained to their family's opinions. Okay. And this is why I was feeling like this isn't ready yet. This isn't ready for reconciliation, but this is more of a channel message to see where this person is at on the journey right now. What was that? Allow, trust in divine timing. This came out yesterday too. Soul spark. Okay. What does this collective need to surrender to, please? And then we'll get how you perceive this person, where you feel currently on this journey. Yeah, 1, I'm triggered, an old pattern has surfaced and it hurts, so it feels like something has recently triggered you, and maybe that's why you're in that rabbit energy. They're trying to show you something that needs to be healed right now. Maybe something, an old wound has triggered you and it's bringing out those wounded feminine aspects in you that they're wanting you to reflect on as well, just how this person's reflecting on their wounds. Number 7, telepathic messages. One of us is sad or angry, and it's creating an energetic match in frequency with the other. This is what I was saying. You're picking up their energy too, but there's still a lesson for you in this and on how to transmute that energy. Stay conscious of this, and if possible, try to help us elevate. Number 3, we are alchemists. We transform fear into love and shadow into light. Again, alchemizing the energy that you're picking up from this person and transmuting it into something positive. Another telepathic message, number 4. I'm trying to connect you and give you a message. Can you hear me? And they got telepathy, remember? And they might be trying to reach you through music and movies and stuff. So if there's certain music or movies that you're hearing or seeing a lot lately, that is something you shared with this person. It could very well be them trying to reach out to you through that song or that show or whatever. Number 3 again, communication. I care about you even when I act like I don't. I'm hiding my true feelings because I feel vulnerable. And that came out of that other deck. They're feeling very raw and vulnerable right now because they're working through a lot of shit. And still also worrying about their family's opinions of you, clearly. This is what I mean. They're not fully there yet. They haven't broken free from it yet fully, but they are working it out. The seeds have been planted. They're working through it. But I think as well, they're hiding their true feelings for you. I actually think, honestly, this person's family know that they're still in love with you. But they don't want you two together. And this is where this person has, if they want to step into that divine masculine energy to protect and provide, be assertive, and you're their person, they have to set a boundary here with their family. But this person, I think, is very good at repressing their emotions and appearing to be okay on the surface. And as well, you yourself could be hiding your feelings as well, especially if it's been a long time here and you don't really feel like you can talk to anyone about this anymore, like that you should be over it by now, so you don't really express that you still have feelings for this person still. So there could be a bit of you hiding it as well. Number 8, so the 1st of August and the 8th of January. A lot of 1, 2, 3, 4 telepathic messages here. You show up in my dreams, that 5D. It helps me process buried memories. Working a lot of things out in your dream state as well. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. You got the 1111 card. We are coming into union. But I will say, I think that you're both going through a phase now where you're developing yourselves and coming into inner union, balancing that masculine and feminine energy within. And once you come into, it's not that you need to be completely perfect and have no emotions about it. It's about, in general, being happy with yourself and life as it is, and that allows energy to, instead of repelling this person, drawing them back in. Because there's also healing to be done once you reconcile too. You'll face challenges, especially in the early days, to see whether you two can resolve them better this time. And that might be something, that might be a key detail here too. If there was a lot of breakups and makeups in the past and the cycles just kept getting worse, you weren't evolving and growing through your arguments, this might be why this separation has been at so long as well. 7th of November. So that could be a point of communication, 7th of November. And it did come out in the timing deck. And the 11th of July, 3rd of July, 7th of March. Separated or together, we are working in tandem with each other again, because you're mirroring in your own rights. You've got whatever you've got going on, and you're facing kind of similar challenges but slightly different, but that's how you mirror. You're working together to heal these things so that you two can merge back together. Number 1, romantic messages. I think you're beautiful inside and out. I see the light that radiates from your soul. Again, because they're watching you. 111. Two for that as well. August is important here as well. 4th of August, 8th of April. Past lives are influencing our connection. I've lost you in other lifetimes, and that makes me afraid. I need to heal the grief to allow the love to bloom. And number 2, all about growth. I'm trying to leave my comfort zone with this issue. And the issue being family and friends. The interferences. Their ego and their pride. I miss you. Let's both stop running away. Another telepathic message. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that was communication, but still. Okay. Number 10, closing out a cycle here. It amazes me when we say the same thing at the same time or finish each other's sentences. 3rd of October, 10th of March. So March and October could be important months here as well. Three, 3, 3. Okay, another telepathic message. I'm trying to figure out this connection. I've never experienced anything like it before. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. There's a lot about telepathy here. And then 10 on the bottom. So yeah, 3rd of October is important. You've got 3, 3, 3, 10, 10. Our inner guidance is clear, but our ego is resisting it. Draw another card to clarify what you both might be resisting. Okay. So you've got 3rd of October twice in a row. October and March are important. What are these people resisting right now? What are they both resisting? Mission. Okay, 1. I'm beginning to focus on my mission and our connection as part of that. So straight away, I feel as though this isn't me saying you're not allowed to think about this person, but I think as well what you're being triggered by right now, what they're being triggered right now needs to be healed out, and you both need to be focusing on what is happening for you in your life right now and making your selves more centered and focusing on your mission, your purpose in this lifetime. Again, it's not about you have to forget about this person, or if every time they cross your mind or you miss them that you're bad. That's going to happen regardless. You're twin flames. but you need to both be focusing on yourselves and your mission right now. You need to not worry about what's going on for them, and same, because they're stalking you, well, they're watching your social media, so don't focus so much on, are they healing, are they doing this, are they doing that, do they realize how much they've hurt me? And they need to stop watching you and focusing on what you're doing and start turning inward and focusing more on their inner reflection and working on their ego and their issues with their family and opinions and stuff. You both need to stop resisting the growth that's needed here within. You need to focus on you and your mission. They need to focus on them and their mission. And it's there. The seeds have been planted. They are reflecting. But like I said, they're not there yet. You both need to refocus on your own stuff right now to heal it. Union on the bottom. I feel our energy merging together as if it has a life of its own. We are becoming one again. You are coming into union. And that's probably why you were getting so many future cards. And this is rushing in, because I think that this is coming in soon. So you need to keep focusing on you. And they need to keep focusing on their inner work. Actually, no, I was going to get how you view them, wasn't I? How do you, the collective, view this masculine? What are your current feelings? Oh, the one. You see them as the one. There is, yeah, so double confirmation, because this came out for them too. You both go over the distance between you two. And that could be part of your fears that are coming up too, that because there's distance between you two, would they ever come back? Cleanse and clear. So again, you're mirroring. You both need to cleanse and clear this energy, but you're hoping they're changing. I really think that, and this is what I said before, instead of worrying about, do they think about me? Do they still care? Am I crazy? Are they growing and changing too? I hope they're growing and changing too. You're too focused on them and what they're doing, and they're too focused stalking you and watching what you're doing instead of doing their inner work, their inner reflection. And that is how you're both mirroring. They got twin flame, you got the one. You see each other as your person. You're both concerned about the distance here. You're too focused on each other's transformations instead of working on your own actual transformation. So you need to cleanse and clear this out. And I think as well, you're hoping that this person has been clearing out the negative influences in their life too. And I think as well with this, to confirm the one, you're also trying to clear out and cleanse the negative energy you feel towards them. And the home that you once shared with them. All right, distance. Your psychic abilities. They got telepathy, you got psychic abilities. So I think you see this person as being quite tapped into. And that might also be why this person wonders, are we telepathically connected? Are they getting the music I'm sending them, or the whatever it is? You might actually be picking these up and thinking, is this a message from them? You're actually you're both very tapped in. You both have these abilities that you can tap into each other's, maybe not necessarily thinking exactly what they're thinking, but say for instance you're driving along and you hear your song, as in the song or songs that you two shared, that was like, this is our song. Or just, it doesn't even have to be your song, but if song lyrics really stand out to you, or they're like pulling on your heartstrings, and then you're thinking, did they send me that song? That kind of stuff, you're both feeling it. Rise up, the phoenix. This is what they got. They are going through a phoenix right now. but you're too focused on, are they changing? Are they healing out what hurt me in the past? And are they growing and learning from this? Yes, they are, but you're too focused on them doing that, and they're too focused on what's going on in your life and watching you. Death and rebirth strength. You're hoping this person is burning away all that stuff that needs to be healed so that they can come back towards you. Full moon. So they got new moon and you've got full moon. This is illumination, amplification, release. So while they're having the seeds planted and they're needing to do the inner reflection, you're being asked to go through a release. Release the expectations of this. Release this obsession with focusing on if they're doing the healing, and keep focusing on your own healing. They're amplifying this emotion in you right now that's making you obsess over them just like they're obsessing over you. And that is how you're sharing that energy. You're both obsessing over each other. They need to focus on their inner reflection, and you need to release this. Release the expectation. Okay. Yeah, full moon. Number 13, boy. It says child, but this says boy. Beginnings, innocent, brand new, creativity, spontaneous, carefree, inexperienced, tender, and new perspective. There is a new perspective that you're both being shown here, or both are having these epiphanies about seeing things differently. Number 13. And for some reason, every time I see that, I think of, like, I see an image of like a 13-year-old boy in my mind. So maybe something specific happened to this person around the age of 13. And for you too, that might be something that's mirrored, because with twin flames, you share a lot of similar trauma. Like, you have different stories, but the trauma is similar, especially when it comes to parents, mother wounds, father wounds. Number 3. Steady forward movement, and this is a travel card. So again, the distance here, but taking things slowly and developing over time. I think I can. Things are on track here. This says go the distance. So this isn't rushing this. It's creating forward momentum without rushing it. Number 30, 13-3-30. That sounds like one. 13. What's those commercials where it's like 13, like the number that they sing for you to call? I don't know why that made me think of that, but that, a lot of threes again, and that threes were coming out a lot in this deck too. 13-3-30. Passion, chemistry, and that reminds me of that this year card with the fireworks. They're celebrating New Year's in this picture, so there's something about New Year's Eve that's important here too. These could be birthdays as well. Passion, chemistry, lust, happiness, excitement, holiday, celebration, kissing, exhilaration, explosive, hot sex. But this could also be like, I just heard New Year's kiss. Sharing a New Year's kiss. These could be significant ages too. So maybe something happened around 3 years old, 13 years old, and 30 years old. Maybe, and also maybe that's when you met them, or you could be born on the 30th. I'm hearing lots of things right now. But I think you also need to be more carefree about this situation. You're both so hyper-focused on each other instead of doing your own work on yourselves. That's what you need to release right now. 36. 13, 3, 30, 36. Maybe you're 36 or met this person when you were 36. And the number 6, so June. Cross, destiny, spirituality, divine guidance. You're both being divinely guided right now. So the trials you've gone through, that emotional loss you both felt with this, it was all fated. So that this crisis of conscience that they're going through over how they treated you and the bad decisions they've made, it's the sorrow that they're feeling and the emotional loss they're feeling from it is divinely guided. They need to go through this trial, this baptism of fire with the phoenix. It's necessary for them to create that new perspective in their mind and seeing things not just from their point of view but from what your point of view and what you went through, to create a brand new beginning here. It's all destiny and it's all on track. Maybe more info needed, but this is the end, mutable. So you're both closing out this cycle right now. It's up to you and your perspective. If you take this as a message to refocus back on yourself and your internal work, then they will. This is about seeing both sides. Again, 111, this person was deceptive with you. It's almost like this person's very good at being a chameleon. They can change depending on who they're around. So they have a tendency towards being deceptive, and that is something they need to heal out as well, because if you're going to have an honest, open conversation about the damage caused here and trying to rebuild things, there's no room for being deceptive here. But this is end of the season. You are both about to close out this chapter if you can refocus your mind on the right thing. You are connected. They're saying be open-minded. You're perfecting things right now. But this also says empathetic. And if this, in the past, this person was deceitful and kind of had that victim mentality and not, it's like they would have been upset to hurt you, but they still felt more sorry for themselves. Their empathy is being activated here. And that empathy is helping them move forward. They are making steady forward movement. Things are on track. You both just need to stop focusing so much on what the other one is doing right now. Okay, 30, fireworks. Spring, new moon. So the new moon has come out again here, but this is, yes, spring into action. This person is being guided to take action here. And I think that to confirm the fireworks, again, this feels like something around New Year's Eve, you two sharing a New Year's kiss. And this is also about fertility, but a new cycle is about to begin here. This is set goals and intentions, new beginnings, fresh excitement. This also says excitement, a surprise. So as well, because there's distance here, this person might even surprise. I feel like they're not going to rock up out of nowhere after no contact for however long, but maybe you two are going to have communication. That's what's coming rushing in, this communication. And through developing a connection again, this person might show up and surprise you for New Year's. Increasing, coming alive, growth, fertile, new cycle. Yes, spring into action. And you've got the Lovers on the bottom. During the spring. So we're in spring now. Within 4 to 8 weeks. Is New Year's Eve 8 weeks away? And also May 22nd to June 21st is important. Snowflake, perfect, precise, handle carefully. Number 9. So 3s are definitely important here too, because there's no, normally when I get these, I'll read them as dates, but there's no matchups except for this one, but there's no 36th of June. So 13, 3, 30 and 36 I think are important ages. Okay, I just want to get one of these. And then we'll get you a divine door. Consequence. Okay. Actually, I have to see if I still got it open. And number 10, again, you're about to close out this chapter. And as well with this person receiving consequences for how they treated you, that's their healing and clearing karma. So yeah, 10 is completion. Completing out this cycle. Maybe you've been on this this particular layer for a long time. Oh, I did get rid of it. Damn. Hang on, let me try and find it. Okay, number 10, consequence. In the upright position, the consequence card represents cause and effect as well as balanced thought and action. This isn't to say that things will work out the exact way that you would like them to. However, pulling this card in a reading does give support to the adage, all's well that ends well. If you have been wronged, this card's appearance may bring you relief. Whoa, my ear just started ringing really loud. That came on really strong. What is that saying? Right for spite, left for love. So if your right ear is ringing, it's someone's talking about you spitefully, and if your left ear is ringing and they're speaking about you with love. And as I said that, I was just looking at a drawing my son made me for Mother's Day that says, "I love you bunches." May bring relief. On the other hand, if your actions caused pain to others, this card serves as a warning. But I think in this case, it's this person that received consequences for how they treated you. Her appearance represents a chance for you to change your actions now for a better future. When an oracle card reading shows the figure of consequence, it's time to account for your actions. Be aware of the impact your decisions will have on your well-being and the well-being of others. Choose consciously by connecting with your inner guidance system, your intuition, and asking for the answer that is most in alignment with the highest good of all. Be ready to stand by your decisions, as you will be held to account for the choices you make. Okay. Let's get you a divine door. What is the closing message for this collective, please? Yes, the yes card. Kiss the ground and touch the sky. Your soul is set. Your soul is set now to leap and to fly. So keep focusing on you and your healing and what you've got going on in your life. Try to distract yourself from focusing on what this person may or may not be doing, where they are or aren't on their healing journey, and refocus back inwards. Because that's also what they need to do. They need to stop focusing out on what's going on in your life and refocus back on what they need to be doing to better themselves, to tap into their divine masculine energy. All right, enjoy your weekend.